Well, hey, happy Monday. This is the 11 a.m. Monday Morning Marketing Webcast brought to you from Tampa Bay. Chris Bernard here, Doc29 Consulting. Hope you're doing very, very well and you had an outstanding Easter weekend. So before we get started, two things. I want to shout out to Mr. Jeff Sanslow at Chief Internet Marketer last week for standing in for me. Did a great job. If you missed that webcast, it will be up today. So we will be publishing that as well. So check it out. Great stuff there about coming changes with Google. Definitely things you need to be paying attention to as you evolve your business. The next thing I want to kind of go over is let me enable my screen here. Just some regular kind of topics of information. First of all, happy Easter. He is risen. So it is good news for all of us. If you don't know our Savior Jesus, you definitely need to check him out. There is a time where you will be taking the very last breath you have here on this planet. And it's very important to know the answer to that question, whether or not there is life after this. So definitely check that out. The next thing I want to share with you guys is a historic recipe from my great-grandfather. My last name is Pyrokowski. Actually, my last name is Bernard, but great-grandpa came over here from Poland and opened up a butchery shop in Ohio. And I have this amazing recipe for Polish sausage and sauerkraut. It is stupendous. So absolutely outstanding stuff there. And then also, if you haven't seen it yet, the 10 Commandments video talking about, the greatest story of history, right? In terms of Jesus Christ and what he did for us. But really just one of those classics that you really need to be paying attention to. If you haven't checked it out, by all means, Charlton Heston, fantastic stuff going on there. All right. So without further ado, let's go over, let me just share my screen again here. Let's just, what the heck? I have no idea what to expect, but we'll go with it anyway. We're talking about the Google 3-pack here. So it's getting more competitive. I forget if it was Search Engine Watch. I'm not sure which one. Search Engine Roundtable. I don't remember. But was it last week, I think, they were mentioning the fact that 3-pack in Google is going down to potentially 2-pack. So let me go ahead and just do something like, let's see if I can get a flag here for Chicago. So let's do Chicago Certified Marketing Consultant. I think you can see my screen. Yep. Okay. All right. So if I could spell properly, which would be a good thing, right? I don't have any 3-packs going on in here. But the good news is we're ranking #1 organically for Google. That's cool against 2 other ads, but that's not going to help us here. So let's do one of those very competitive, beautiful search terms for Chicago. Let's do deep dish pizza. Deep dish pizza. Deep dish pizza. Chicago. It's probably going to give me a ton of options. This would be one of those local searches, right? This is the 3-pack right here, which is, in this case, a 3-pack. So depending on what you think about in terms of pizza from Chicago, we have my personal favorite, which is Giordano's. My wife says that since we moved out of Chicago, Giordano's has fallen on her list. She prefers a much more thin crust, which I'm not sure if is divorce ready or something of that nature, but it may be to some couples. For us, it wouldn't be, but it's definitely good to have a little confrontation in the home to keep things interesting. Illuminati's okay pizza, Gino's East okay pizza, in my opinion. But again, actually, Gino's East has really nice fresh ingredients, though. If you can see this from this photo here, it's really good stuff. But anyway, this is the 3-pack, people. So if you have a local business and you're not here, that is bad. Remember, there's 3 listings going on here right now. Those are going on down to 2 from what we hear. So that makes this a very, very important spot. Why? Well, you have paid media going on in here, right? Which is your PPC. You have Google My Business, which is absolutely fantastic. I love Google. They're just crazy bastards over there. Just stealing content. It's just beautiful. It's just brought in from Wikipedia. I guess the search for Chicago, and I could make an argument for it really. Chicago deep dish style pizza. What's the definition of it? I guess you could kind of go down that path, but instead of letting advertisers go do that or give that to one of these other awesome companies out here, you're going to go ahead and just take that search term and show content without doing anything. Yeah, you've got these little guys underneath here, but come on, really? So anyway, Google My Business right here. And then Google My Business stuff here, really, which is the 3-pack. And we're going to get into the keys to showing up in here in just a moment. And notice how that is really above the organic listings. By the way, just a shout out again to Giordano's. They must be better because they are the first organic ranking. Okay. So what is the 3-pack? Let me read the definition to you, because honestly, folks, it is critical. 46% of all of that Google searches, that they are local. And it's probably higher than that now, especially with the popularity of the mobile devices, right? And 93% of the time, seriously, they show up 93% of the time in those local searches, this 3-pack here, okay? Now, again, if I do a search like we did here initially with the Chicago certified marketing consultant or whatever, I didn't get the 3-pack. That would be one of those 7% cases where I put in a city with a thing and it didn't show up, right? But this is 93% of the cases where I'm doing a local search with that city name in it or the near me terms or something of that nature, and that 3-pack is showing up. Very critical stuff. I don't think anybody actually clicks the view all unless they're looking for a specific business. That's just my hypothesis. I haven't seen any data on it. But the fact is, if you're prospective, one of these are the likely going to get, or all three potentially, depending on what the product is, your business at this point, right? Especially considering you see the star rankings in here and the average order size is really low at this, so your risks are smaller. If you're putting in like a pool or something like that where the AOS is much higher, then you're likely to not just make a quick decision, likely going to be researching that stuff. But important to note, what was it? 50%, and this is according to Search Engine Land, 50% of all search queries now result in without a single click. So they didn't even click any of this. They just said, oh, Giordano's. Oh, okay, good. Oh, all right, they're here. Didn't click anything, right? But I just showed up, and it's important for that real estate to be there. So guys, literally half of those don't receive any clicks just for that reason. I have the information I need, so why go take it any further? Now, if I want to see the menu and stuff like that, obviously I could go ahead and click that, and that's going to be something a little bit different, and that would be a signal. But right now, Giordano's has no idea that I came into the restaurant this evening because I saw this, right? So critically important. Oh, by the way, and 80% of those resulted in an actual conversion in store. So huge stuff. The stakes are high. And with it going down from 3 to 2, even bigger stuff, right? So the 3-pack, you're probably aware of it. Results in the top 3, results in SERPs in groups of 3. It's called the 3-pack. Yeah, great definition. Fantastic. Now, guys, the near me search, literally that almost year over year, that near me, so whatever that product near me search instead of Chicago has gone up 200%. Okay, so people are using this more and more, and as these devices here get smarter and smarter, we're going to be in a situation where that real estate is prime puppy right there. Okay, so we definitely want to make sure we're doing some stuff with it that's proper. I already covered that. Okay, so there's 3 primary rankings factors. Okay, 3 primary rankings factors. Those are going to be, let me go turn this off so I can show you my big whiteboard back here. Hopefully it's clean. It is clean. Okay, so there's 3 primary factors. The first one, as you probably would have guessed, relevance, right? Okay, so let's talk just a little bit about relevance, okay? Google allows you, Google has predefined selected categories when you go in and set up your Google My Business profile, okay? Got some already that's set up. Use those default settings, okay? But which one do you go after? Your business might sell like dozens of different categories and products, right? Make sure, one, use the default, don't get me wrong. But one of the other things that you need to be thinking about is to make sure that you understand the potential search volume that's necessary. And there's a couple ways to do that. We've talked about those in other webcasts here. But one of those, and take Google's data, any data that Google gives you, take it with a kind of a grain of salt, okay? Especially when it comes to local search. A lot of those numbers are freaking way off. But there's three different ways. I'll give you the first two, right? Trends.google.com. You can go look at type in the potential search terms that you're thinking of, or business categories or products or whatever it is. And you can see there a nice little chart. And it allows you to filter down by actual city, which is great. You're likely not going to find some of this data depending on how big the city is, right? So, but that's one source. Second source, you can use the estimator tool in terms of pay-per-click traffic using the ads.google.com login, and then under resources, I forget, a reports up there, resources or tools, I forget what right now, but it's under one of those for the keyword research, right? You could probably just type that in Google and it will take you right there if you're logged in. Again, grain of salt with that one, right? Especially at the local search level, okay? Because on average, Google will tell you that number one search term, and it's the highest cost per click of anything. And then when it comes to actually, if you start matching those specific search terms that you see there with the actual city, so like pizza, deep dish pizza, Chicago, you would do deep dish. Likely deep dish pizza is going to be your number one. You start looking at those city configurations, the number one search term is actually, what I'm trying to say is the number one search term is actually one of those with the city in it. I don't care how big or small it is. It's going to be the case. And if you think about ads, if I typed in, like, I'm in a city called Parrish, Parrish, really small city, right? Look, there's going to be no traffic for that. But there will be actually if you actually do a test. So one of the things, again, just a little checkbox for our agency is we don't guess which keywords are there. We actually test them. So we'll blow out that list of tens of thousands or millions of keywords. Our average local business, like 5 cities around, all the products and services, averages 72,000 keywords. We'll actually test that with a very small test budget, $1,000. We're going to be able to build out all those keywords for your business, match them up with the cities, and then test it in Google in your area, right, to find out which actual statistical keywords have the greatest potential of converting. So we call that keyword insight, right? Again, not guessing anymore, we're actually testing. So all that to say, when you fill that stuff out, when you're filling out your Google profile, your Google My Business stuff, it gives you, I believe, 5 categories. You can add more probably, but then it starts getting fragmented. Use the defaults, but know which keywords or products or services have the greatest potential. Put those in first, or your primary. Does that make sense? If it's another vertical, maybe you want to do something like attorneys do this, right? Or doctors' offices. Going down a little bit of a rabbit trail on this one here. But name of company, okay, and then colon, the division, product, service, department, whatever the case may be. And so you can do company, whatever. And you can set up 4 or 5 different business profile pages. We do this for attorneys as well. So you have attorney's firm, and then you have attorney's firm, a different attorney. So the goal would be really kind of cool to be able to go, okay, they Google that type of legal service, for example. Okay. The first thing that shows up in Google search is going to be the actual organically anyway. Yes, you could be supporting it with paid, but also the business. You would have the company showing up first, but then you would have all these different derivations of the stuff, right? Let's see, the company name with that division or legal group or whatever it is that's there. So you could have 5 or 6 different Google My Business pages, and those pages, those listings, like here with Giordano's or whatever, you can't see that. So it would be like Giordano's, like I'm making this up right now. Let's say Giordano's was an attorney's firm. Giordano's, attorney 1, attorney 2, attorney 3. So you'd have potentially a couple different guys in there, or gals, right? So good stuff there to keep in mind as you're working through your Google My Business stuff. So relevance is really important. Know which keywords are there, because again, if you sell a lot of products, you may have 5 or 6 different divisions of the company, and those have a whole different suite or set of keywords, right? So we talk about relevance. Think about that, right? You need to be able to have Google, you need to be able to tell Google what's important about that division and give people reason, because it is limited. Your business profile, the description, all that stuff is limited. So again, if you know your keywords, you can create that hierarchy better. We have an attorney's firm that does this. We also do this for healthcare providers, right? Different surgery centers and things like that. Again, different departments think about that stuff. Second factor is, no shocker here, distance. Okay, if you're farther away, you're less likely to compete at a local business level than if you're close, right? So, and they've even tested this. I forget which. They've even tested so that like literally it's like 2 miles. Like that's how accurate this is going to be. And a lot of small businesses kind of function in a 7-mile radius or even less. So it's definitely important. You may consider remote offices and things like that potentially there. We have a client that does, I could probably share with you. They're a polygraph company and they have like 3 different states, but they actually travel to those locations. So they're scheduling those locations at 4 or 5 different locations a day, kind of trying to get those things kind of squared away so that their drive time is not incredibly bad. But they have like Regis offices or some type of virtual. They're physical offices, but they swipe their card and they sign. They have a membership and they go ahead and do that. So they bring their equipment to actually do lie detectors in 3 different states. So that's kind of cool. So distance is critically important. The third thing is prominence. Prominence. I think I spelled that right. Is it C? I don't know spell. It's okay. Technology, right? It's made us all a little sillier. If you're well known or not. Well, how do you get well known? Well, there's several things that you need to be in order to be well known. You need to have a great product or service. You need to know how to advertise potentially. You need to know word of mouth. You need to have all those things that are important. You need to know how your organic rankings are playing out and be visible, right? So there's a couple things to be considering there. So on-page elements and even reviews matter as well, according to Moz. I also did a little bit of research on this one. And then Rio SEO has pointed out that basically there's a very, very strong correlation between your organic, your organic SEO initiatives to rank well. You know, again, taking a piece of content, optimizing it for search, making sure it shows up organically for things. So definitely need to make sure you're doing that. Now, 3 kind of subsets with this, right? In terms of the tactics. So we talked about the big rankings kind of features. Let's get into some of those tactics to help us out a little bit. So optimizing your Google Plus. Welcome to the 1990s. It feels like it, right? Optimizing your Google My Business profile. There's a couple things. Name, address, phone number, guys, minimum, right? But there's other things. Ratings, you're making sure your price range is there, right? If you have products that are appropriate for that. Your hours, links to the website in various aspects that would be helpful to your guests. Like in this case with Giordano's, the link to the menu, right? Maybe there should be. Is that a link to the menu? No, see? Missing it right there, right? They got 10,000 reviews though. Let me point that out to you. Better Pizza. Yeah, look at that. Twice as many reviews. Yeah, you got it. So anyway, but there should be a link to the menu, and it may be in here. Well, let's go ahead and click that. Giordano's. There it is. Okay, so orders. And go ahead and do that. That's cool. You can't see that, can you? Let me turn that on so you can see that again. Ha! Gotta watch this technology stuff. Oh, and they even locked you out. So what I did was when we see this search query right here, they do. Okay, so you see this, I'm like, dude, there's no menu. Like that's kind of frustrating. You can see that, right? Yep. All right, so when I go ahead and click it, brings this up. I was then into the full set of Google My Business options here, right? Reviews are important, remember that. But I also have the orders right here. Okay, and you can even the menu, which is kind of important. So again, give Google the links that are necessary to do an excellent job. Locations on a map, also important, as well as the directions. Again, pretty simple stuff going on. Make sure that your business is verified. When I can't tell you, probably in 50% of cases, when we go in, all right, cool. When we go into a new business, a lot of times it says to claim this business, right? When you do that search, that is horrible. Let's see if I can, again, because Google has stolen this. Let's do something like, I don't even know what's going to come up here. I can't get that to flag. So even things like that are really, you can't even see that again. Things like this are helpful to the guest, right? The reviews are showing up. Again, we're going to talk about reviews in just a second. Let's do something like custom suits. Come on, seriously? How about let's just do new cars, new Infinity. I like my Infinity. Okay, here we go. All right, so you see this stuff on the right-hand side, which you can see now, which is great. Website directions saved, great. You got reviews going on, you got top popular times, things like that. Manage this listing. Okay, so like in here, I see manage the listing, but there are times where it says claim this listing, like silly. If you see that, please. And by the way, we had a physician's clinic in Tallahassee. We have a client actually, and there were like 2 out of their physicians. I don't know if they were just really popular or whatever, but they had 2 of their physicians that had business Google My Business listing pages, didn't even know about it, right? So we're like, well, these are just hanging out there. So be aware, different phone numbers, different search queries, they could be pulling all that stuff kind of in. You could run rankings reports to see if you want me to reach out to you. There's a query that you can actually put into Google to kind of show you what links to your site. And you can pull out some of those listings that potentially are there to go, oh, I didn't know there were 2 or 3 other pages kind of hanging out there that Google's created without your knowing about it. And then you can claim those and actually use them, which is good. Let's see. So make sure it's verified. Add your local operating hours. Yep. Add photos. Look, we've talked about this with ads. It's the exact same thing. If Google's asking for something, give it to them, please. Just seriously, just with photos or videos if possible. Make sure that you're doing that on a regular basis. That would be very, very helpful. Other things that are helpful. So that's the first one. Optimize your Google My Business profile page or pages, kind of what we talked about before. You can really do some amazing stuff in there. We have a very, very competitive healthcare clinic in Ocala. And Florida is already an older state. Ocala has a much older population than even Florida does. Very active. But being a healthcare company, yes, when people have problems, like let's say, for example, car accidents, okay, people have problems, they can do a search for it, but we're getting this physician, this specific physician, to get rankings for auto injury Ocala. And they're a doctor that can refer to attorneys and all that stuff, but literally we're saying, you know what, call this doctor first, right, to make sure you get evaluated so that you can get your health back in, because time is of the essence. And in Florida, it's like we have a 2-week time period, right, if you're involved in a car accident. But either way, you can do some amazing things. We are getting to rank for a term that is more prospective using the auto injuries aspect of his business. So we have clinic name, auto injury. And he's ranking for that stuff, which is fantastic. And he just texted me. Actually, he texted me. Oh, well, hey, let's see. Hang on here. I'll tell you. It was like 24. Very high average order size clients too, by the way, which is fantastic. Yeah, he said 25 to 28 patient calls last month. And this is a high average order size stuff. So really good stuff happening if you use the Google My Business profile information properly and think about your business, those keywords and stuff like that. So good stuff there. Okay, so that is, again, optimizing your Google My Business profile. If you need help with that, give me a call, email, let me know, okay? Second thing to consider with this, right, getting in that 3-pack, is responsive. If your site, let's go to a site that is not, all these are going to be responsive, I assume. Let's just go to the Infinity of Tampa. You cannot see this. Okay, so you can see it, which is good. if I go ahead and do, here, let's close my email so we don't get anything crazy going on here. You can see just your site should be responsive. If it's not, dude, seriously, call me. You're getting spanked by Google big time, and it's not a fun experience at that point. It is actually pretty severe, and it's not going to get any better. So, oh, and by the way, there's alternatives. A little rabbit trail on this one. There's alternatives to kind of mobilize your website, right? Through Divi, not Divi. There's a couple out there, but seriously, those work okay, but they're just simply patches to you solving the actual problem. Okay, band-aids really is what I like to call them. So like in this case here, this is Infinity of Tampa. The site itself is optimized so it shows up if your screen goes like this in a mobile phone environment, you can actually do something with it, okay? There are sites out there, a lot of government or EDU websites out there that have content that's being ranked for, but it renders absolutely horribly on a mobile phone. That's one good way. If you have to pinch and look to see stuff, that's a terrible experience, first of all, but beyond that, your site is not responsive. That's going to have an impact in showing up in the Google 3-pack, by the way, okay? The last thing I want to tell you about is reviews. Now, should I erase this? Let's go to this. I want you to think about something here, okay? There are companies out there that will take I'll just call them out too. Some of them are better than others. Some of you have already contracted with them, which is fine. It's absolutely okay. But you need to be aware of what's going on. Some of them will just put, like, when the customer gets a follow-up, right? So they've had the experience. Let's say they were Infinity or whatever it is. And I'm not saying Infinity is doing this, but let's call it like a physician's office, right? Follow up with the customer. I just had my appointment. They send me a link to review. I go ahead and click it, and it takes me to a page, and I can then say I had a good experience or a bad experience. And if I had a bad experience, by the way, this is the good part. If I had a bad experience, it shows the name and phone number of who I can contact to get my situation fixed, and somewhat of not an apology, but usually we aim for 100% satisfaction. Sometimes we don't meet our customers' expectations, and here's my numbers. I'm the owner of the company, or whatever the case may be, and that shows up on the bad experience. Alternatively, that if I click that button for a good experience, or a 3, 4, or 5 star, or 4 or 5 star, I get the social media links. I say, hey, thank you very much. Everyone loves a good attaboy or something like that. Click the social media profile of your choice to leave us a review. Great. So they go to Facebook or Google, whatever. Now, that's the way it should be done. Some of these just make you fill out the box, like you got 5 star, makes you fill out the comment in there, and then they post it. Okay. Problem with that is this: some of these guys, you need to know the difference between a wall post that shows up and what is actually review. Okay. In some of these cases, let's see if I can bring one up. I don't want to share the information with some of these about some of these other companies. Just evaluate it the way that you're supposed to. So again, it looks great when they fill this out. If it's actually not building into, like, Giordano's here had 10,000 reviews when I did this right a few minutes ago. You can't see my screen yet. There you go. So Giordano's right here. No, that's. I thought it said crappy pizza. That would be horrible. Why would that be? So when this technology functions, okay, if you don't, let's say it's submitted for Cappies, okay, if I don't see my review, okay, or the latest review that I just got alerted to, 364 goes to 365, it's just going on another website platform that is optimized for my stuff. This is where the gravy is, folks. Okay. And the same thing with Facebook. Make sure it's posting into the actual Facebook reviews. This is very, very, very important to you. Okay. Instead of getting locked into a contract, we've gone through 2 companies that literally said they did this stuff, and then you check them out and they're like, no good. All right. So ridiculous. So you want to make sure that number is increasing. If that technology actually builds into these reviews. Does that make sense for you? So definitely want to make sure that's there. Keep in mind why this is important. 86% of people use those reviews. 86% use that to evaluate who they're going to call and contact, right? The other thing is 15% of people don't trust a company with 0 reviews, even if it's here. Trying to get another client of ours, like seriously, dude, it's a doctor. Like if we're doing that same division thing going on, right? Where we had, name of practice, division. Like you got to get some reviews in there. Just because you're here doesn't mean you're going to stay here unless you get some reviews in there. So if they had a great experience, seriously, let them go to the website and be able to go do something with that, provide you with a review. Now, that being said, the reviews that we're talking about, I'm strongly suggesting, guys, is when they hit a page, you should have a reviews link on your page, okay? A reviews link actually on your page. Let me turn this off so you can see a little bit better. So you can have a reviews link directly on your navigation, drop down, or whatever it is. Now, you may have different business units and things like that where you may need to section those off different, or maybe you have like directory pages that you should have that review button in there, okay, specifically for those. So again, the way this works is they click on reviews and now they go to basically what I was suggesting before. And this is on your site. Guys, you need to control this stuff. Inbound traffic and digital engagement matters to Google. So if you have, I keep getting alerts. I'm going to take off my watch if that's okay. For whatever reason, we have like outside of our home, we have one of those little lizards, those little anoles or whatever it is. It goes by the light in front of the security camera and it keeps flagging. So crazy stuff going on. It's just a little guy. It's not a big guy, just a little guy. All right, so, and then you can, by the way, adjusting the sensitivity doesn't change anything, which is kind of weird, but keeping going with that. So we have good, and by the way, these are usually the buttons. So we love reviews, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for considering us, and this would be bad. Okay, and we usually have these in colors, like that's green, that's red. So when it comes to the bad, and again, we kind of covered this just a moment ago quickly, but it has the profile picture of the dude or dudette that's in charge. Okay, we have or whatever. Sorry, we messed up. We 100% satisfaction. We love to take care of our customers, but sometimes we miss. Don't take responsibility. Try to empathize. Give them the phone number, right? And give them an email address, right? At whatever, that they can get their problem resolved. Because 2 things. First of all, Boston, they've done a book. What was it? Was it Good to Great? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. It was a story of Boston Medical, right? Where the doctors are all arrogant, stinkwads, and basically they were having like massive lawsuits. Let me know if that's not the right book, but massive lawsuits. So what they did was they empowered their employees to kind of like raise their hand and red flag. And these were nurses and things like that recognized things were out of order. Well, 2 things. First of all, they gave those nurses and other practitioners the opportunity to raise that red flag. But the other portion is they retrained their doctors to be more empathetic and listening. And 9 times out of 10, they would be able to avoid lawsuits, even though they screwed up, just by empathizing with the client. Same exact thing here. Empathize with the client. Their expectations may have been unreasonable, period, but in some cases they were reasonable. So people want the problem solved. 90% of the problems can be resolved like this, okay, that you see. By the way, don't take social media posts down that are bad. Just respond to them quickly and take them offline. So if I had a bad experience and I write a bad review on you as a company, responding back in a couple minutes by, Chris, we're really sorry you had a terrible experience with us. Please give me a call at the office. By your way, your agency can handle this too. Give me a call at the office, okay? But it would be for the office person, at that client, okay? And then Chris never comes back again. Okay, so if I posted that review at 11:35 and it was 11:37 and you responded to that, what am I going to think happened? What is that prospect that does a search next week think about that? They look at that and they see, okay, 2 minutes later they respond and there's been no post. They're going to think that's been resolved. In some cases, you can actually, if they were happy because you took care of them and you responded, you can send them a link directly to that, again, reviews, whatever. Say, yeah, you know what? They came in and did this. So they can follow up on their own. That's fantastic. So you're doing something very positive. No business is perfect. So I give you the permission to fail every once in a while. That being said, if you have a good experience, and again, this is all occurring on your website, I'm strongly recommending you don't use a third-party tool for this. One, you're just paying $200 to $300 or more for something like this per location to go ahead and do. But you're missing out on potential traffic to the website that gets engagement. By the way, you can even sell other things in there, right? Make people aware of some stuff, right? So, and after they submit a thank you, you can actually then blow open a new window with some offers or promos to share or something of that nature. There's a lot that you can do there. But if they have a good review, you can say, thanks, right? And you can say, well, everyone appreciates great comments and great helpful stuff like that, right? So you can again give them their Google, their Facebook, right? And think outside the box. When you do a search for some of those key terms with those directories and businesses, like Yelp, Health Grades may show up, Vitals, Better Business Bureau, Open Table. What other things have we seen in there? Like even like super pages and things like that have also showed up in there. But think about where potentially you'd want the guest to go for it. You may just want to grow Google, but I'm telling you, if they don't have a Google account and they're always on Facebook, they're not going to click this. So if you just show Google, they're not going to do anything. But if they show all these other options, again, like Better Business Bureau, Yelp, Open Table, Vitals, Health Grades, all those different types of businesses or social media, you may be able to do something very special with it, right? And boost that. And again, when they click something in here, you can actually have it bust open a new page with products and information, a special offer, discount code, whatever it is. And that other page, so this would open up to your Google review stuff, right? But then this other page opens up for those offers. It might be a discount code, promo. It might be a couple of other different products or services with a thank you, right? Something of that nature. There's a billion things you can do with that, but it's important that you own that technology then. You own that because it's on your website. Again, you get the engagement benefit, but then you also have control over that. So I'd strongly recommend you do that kind of stuff. So that being said, I am now 40 minutes into this. That is all I have for you at this point. A lot of action steps. Everything comes back to understanding your keywords and the structure of your business, right? Relevance, dominance, and prominence. Relevance, distance, and prominence are important. SEO does matter. Again, according to Moz, again, if you know your keywords and you know what's driving, it's going to change everything. It's going to change your Google My Business profile pages and how those are structured. It's going to change the content that you take those guests to. It's going to change how your review structure is laid out. All those things are important in terms of your business. So it's not just, okay, I'm making sure my name, address, phone number information is correct in Google My Business, and making sure pictures are there, reviews are there, links are there. But again, it's understanding the structure of your business and aligning all of those things properly so that they perform well. So regardless of what signals Google's turning up and turning down, or whether it's videos get more prominence for that search query, or directories like Yelp get more visibility, wherever it is, it's all aligned properly, right? Based on keyword terms and concepts to your business. So if you need help with that, love to be able to reach out to you. I will be posting the show notes today, along with Jeff Stanslow's topic last week. So if I invite you to show up next week for other great content. If you have questions, as always, give me a call, email me, let me know. Really appreciate your time today, guys. Thanks so much. Have a very, very blessed week. And remember, Easter isn't just one day a year.